going to demonstrate how to use the ZPUino processor on the Zula FPGA board with only the USB connection. The FTDI cable is not going to make an appearance in this video after this. Everything will happen directly through the USB connection. I've downloaded the ZPUino processor bitstream and the correct one for the Zula 2 LX9 board, which is what I'll be using. And I have to get this into the flash on the Zula board. So let me open up a command window and issue the command for blowing the bitstream into the flash. And that'll take a few seconds to run. Well, more than a few seconds. You can see the LED flashing as the download occurs. Okay, the download into the flash has finished, and I get a small error message at the end. That's a bug in the USB driver that I haven't fixed yet. Now we have to plug and unplug the Zula board, and when you plug it back in, the the presence of power will force the FPGA to load in the contents of the flash, and that will be the ZPUino processor will start to run. So now we have the ZPUino processor running on the FPGA of the Zula board. Next thing to do is set up the COM ports of the null modem emulator. It's already set up in this case from previous work that I've done. I've got a COM7 and a COM8 port here. If you wanted to make another one, you can add another pair pretty easily with COM0 and it will stick it in there, and you can rename those, but I don't need that virtual port pair in this case, so I can remove that. So I'll use COM7 and COM8 for this example. With COM7 and COM8 set up, I will now start the USB to serial server. I'm going to run it in debug mode so we can see what happens as it processes commands. And the communication port I'm going to be on will be number 8. So we'll take everything it sees on COM port 8 and send it over to COM port 7 with the null modem emulator. And the module in the ZPUino that handles communications is at address 253. And that's just what I compiled into the ZPUino code when I ran the Xilinx tools on it. There's nothing magic about 253. I could change that if I wanted to, but right now it's 253. And now we see that the USB to serial server has powered up, and it's gone ahead and queried the ZPUino on board for the sizes of the typos that it's got and what's waiting for it to receive out there. And from that point on, it will just keep echoing characters back and forth. Now I'll start up the ZPUino IDE, the programming environment. And first thing I want to do is set up for the correct board, and I'll use the ZPUino 2.0 and the one that is loaded on a Zula 2 LX9. So that's already set up. And I'll set up my port. I'll run it on COM7. That's the other end of the null modem emulator. And so I should be ready to download code into the ZPUino. Let me fetch some code, an old design that I did for the RGB LED. And it brings up another window. So this is just code for flashing an RGB LED, running it through some colors. I'm going to put my ping pong ball diffuser back over the LED just so that it can be more visible on the video. Now I'll compile and download it, and I can watch the commands run through here. Now you can see all the dumps going through the USB to serial converter, and the program has been downloaded, and now you can see it ramping the LED through the various colors. I'll turn out the light here so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Now if I wanted to change this program, to change the behavior of it, I could just go into one of these routines and change some of the delays. Make it faster. And then just go ahead and download that. Again, the download code goes through. Now we can see that the RGB LED is pulsing much more quickly than it did before. So that demonstrates the ability to regain control from the ZPUino that's on the FPGA and reprogram it. Now the question you might have is, how easy is this to set up when you just want to start working with the ZPUino? Let's assume you're starting from nothing in this case, but you've already had all the setup done that I showed previously. If you want to develop a new ZPUino program, all you have to do is plug in the USB to the board. It's already programmed with the ZPUino processor, so that's going to start. Then you don't have to set up the COM ports or anything because those are already set up. You can pull up your ZPUino environment, which should already be set up from previous times, and you can start the USB server. And I'll start it up in non-debug mode, and that's running. And now you're ready to go ahead and start programming the ZPUino. So you can download. You can see the programming completed successfully. We can reload that sketch from before. Download that. Programming completed. Now you can see that it's running. So it really is very quick and easy to set up the USB cable and get the server running and use your ZPUino on your FPGA without the need of the FTDI cable at all. And it's not inconvenient, and it doesn't take a lot of time. And it's certainly better than having two cables hanging off of the board. That concludes the demonstration. Thanks for watching.